Hello and welcome to Tabletop Magpie. I'm Lee and today I'm going to be giving you my top 5 reasons to play Deadzone from Mantic Games. So let's start where it really matters, the starter set. This 2-player starter set from Mantic is fantastic value. You actually get enough for 2 players to start playing the game. You get a paper gaming mat, which is 2 foot by 2 foot, which if you've seen my Mythos video, you know I love a small gaming space, and this really takes it to the next level. You get the plastic modular scenery. Obviously I've not got it all set up or on the board here, this is just for display purposes, just to show you what's going on. It's really good. It wouldn't look out of place on any other sci-fi themed board, I don't think, anywhere. It's 3 inches by 3 inches cubed as well, which we'll get into very shortly. You also get your tokens printed on good quality cardstock, double-sided. You get your command dice, which obviously give you your options and whatnot in game. You get your D8s. It's a D8 system, and alright, I've rolled 2 8s there, which if I was actually playing a game of Deadzone would be absolutely brilliant. You of course get your sprues for your plastic men to build all your options, and you get loads of options with these. It's absolutely bananas. Like I said, it's enough to get 2 people actually playing the game to a decent level. And finally, you get the hardback rulebook, full colour, has all the army lists in it from the time of printing. It's a few years old now, this game, you know. I'm basically digging through my pile of shame in the garage, and I've realised that I've not given Deadzone the time it deserves, so I've been looking over it the last few weeks, and I think it's time to share the joy, as it were. All the updates are available in other expansions, which can be found on Mantic's website. But for $49.99 from Mantic Direct, you know, this is an absolute bargain. If you shop around, you can probably find it cheaper from a third-party retailer, probably around maybe £40. But I mean, even for £50, it's an absolute bargain. Next up is a fast, intuitive rule set. There are only a handful of stats and a reasonable number of special rules in the book. All the rolls are a 3d8 base, with modifiers only adding or taking dice away, so your target number is never altered. But Deadzone has something pretty different up its sleeve. The game is played in cubes. Each cube is 3 inches by 3 inches, and the scenery that you get in the game is, handily, 3 inches by 3 inches too. Most of it is. Some of it, as you can see, is broken down and busted up, but you can get other Deadzone scenery sets that are more intact. I've got the version 1 starter set, so I've got a load of intact scenery as well, luckily. You can build the board up as high as you like, so you can have towering sniper nests in the middle of the board and all sorts. It's the scenery's modular as well. This all just clips together. I've glued some of it, but you don't have to. It's really, you know, if you have a look online, you can see some really great designs that people have put together. All the ranges are in cubes as well, so there's no measuring. So you can't get too gamey with all that sort of stuff. That said, your location within the cube is pretty important. So you can see my Enforcer and Forgefather there. They are not in optimal positions at all, which is probably pretty standard for me, to be fair. Next up, Exploding 8s. As I mentioned, Deadzone uses a D8 system, and whenever you roll a natural 8, not only does that hit, you get to roll another dice. And if that dice rolls an 8, you keep going until you don't roll another 8. This happens quite frequently, more frequently than you might think actually. Vanguard has a similar mechanic, well, the exact same mechanic, and I've seen dished out and been on the receiving end of a chain of 8s. It's absolutely hilarious when you pull it off. Not so much when you're on the receiving end of it. Let's have a quick go. Let's see if the dice gods are with me. Yes, I got one. So the one at the back here landed 8 side up, so that would be a hit. In fact, I think for most things, everything would be a hit here. I've got a 5, a 6 and an 8. So I would then get another D8. And you will not believe this. It was off camera. There you go. It's an 8. So I would then get another D8. And that's a 3, so that's a miss. But so I have mentioned it earlier, but it is one of the key reasons that I'm recommending Deadzone to everybody out there. It's the gaming space. It's 2 foot by 2 foot. It will fit on a coffee table, well, most coffee tables I imagine. It'll fit on a dining table, no problem, with enough room for your everything else, for your counters, for your brew, for your beer, or whatever. I just don't think that many other miniature games can give you such a big experience in such a small area. You know, even dungeon crawling board games will take up a bigger space than this. The game plays quickly as well, and as I mentioned earlier, having so few stats for all the models and having them all to hand in the book, I don't know, there's a lot to be said for just buying into Deadzone, cracking on with it. And finally, but quite pertinent considering the worldwide situation we're all currently living through, you can play Deadzone completely solo. There's an expansion called Nexus Sci, which Mantic have currently got up on their digital downloads page for free, and this has an AI system built in it for solo play. It currently only supports a shambling horde of plague-infested zombies, but I'm confident that with just a little bit of tinkering around, you could use the basic AI setup and introduce shooting so you can play against other races or factions. And like I say, that is free on the Mantic's website at the moment. So for quarantined gaming, solo gaming, fits on a coffee table. You know, there's a lot to be said for buying into Deadzone and giving it a go. One last thing I will mention before we sign off here is the quality of the models. As I mentioned, I've got version 1 Deadzone and the Enforcers. I remember at the time thinking they were absolutely brilliant, but seeing these new plastic ones, they absolutely just leave the other ones in the dust. The proportions are great, they go together really well. I really enjoyed painting them. I've enjoyed building them, which is not like me at all. The Forge Fathers are excellent as well. They're like well proportioned for space dwarfs. Just, yeah, they're really, really good. You know, you can see the difference from version 1 Deadzone, and Mantic continue to just get better and better and better with pretty much everything they put out. So there we go, 5 pretty good reasons to give Deadzone a go, if I do say so myself. So with that, that's it. Thank you very much for joining me on this video today. Hopefully I'll be making some more as time goes by, and look after yourselves, look after each other, and see you on the next video. Thank you very much, cheers, bye!